Okay, so the thrust of the last meeting, which was in March, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was mainly when Esme was trying to get the finances sorted for.
Yeah.
We looked at a spreadsheet that Esme had done as well, I think, and it was about looking to see really what was missing, what needed a slightly different emphasis or explanation as to what the figures represented. But it was trying to get to a point where we all understood what we were looking at, and if we were going to use that all that data, financial data, for fundraising applications, then obviously we need to be quite flexible, from what I've written down here, about how we prepare the finance data to meet the needs of the fundraiser that we are applying to, because I think there are differences between different fundraisers, fund providers. And so it was really just making sure that we understood what we were looking at, where all the data was, and was it easy to capture and reproduce in the right format.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we did discuss as well, would it make a difference to the profit that we were showing that we had? And that mainly that profit was really more around the fact we were inheriting money from prior to being a CIC from the funders in the previous year, and how do we treat that money, and how do we treat the sales money in terms of tax? And I think we were looking at whether or not a CIO would be a better status for us, because there would be tax advantages to being a CIO over a CIC.
Well, that's what we wanted in the first place, wasn't it? So, but we had to wait, and we had to wait. We would sort of advise somewhere along the line that wait until the year had gone round. So, so the second, so thank you. So how are things finance-wise, Esme?
So regarding the last year, from a QuickBooks point of view, it's done, but I don't know when to submit it, because obviously we don't know what to do about the bit before we were a CIC. That's the question that I'm not sure about. Remember I gave you that man's details, Lee, and I think someone was going to speak to him just to check. So once I know what to do with that, I can start submitting the final accounts. But you have 9 months from the date, from the year end date, which was I think the 8th of March. So we've got until December. There's not a lot we can do with the figures, that's all done. It's just because of the big grant income, just checking that we document that properly.
Yeah.
Okay, so was it Paul that was going to speak to this guy, or who was going to? Yeah, I don't think.
I don't think I've seen anything that told me how to get in touch with him. I got in touch with a guy called Robin, who works for the company Ordered Management, who looked after our application to become a CIC.
Okay.
From nowhere. We were nothing before that. We were just unincorporated association. And I gave him all sorts of information. I gave him the business plan. I gave him a copy of the things that we'd constructed to help us as an unincorporated association. And we were producing a set of accounts to a degree, but because we were unincorporated at the time, we were not registered anywhere under the HMRC or under Companies House or anything like that. So it was all a bit hand to mouth as we weaved and learnt our way around what we should do. But we tried to put in place documentation that made it look as though if we were going to be a charity, we had the right documentation to show that. So we ended up not being able to become a charity because we were turned down, because we hadn't been running long enough and we didn't have enough, at least a year's accounts to show them. So that was put on hold. We were advised by a number of different people, including Ordered Management, that a CIC would best serve our purposes for the time being for two reasons. One was that it gave us a structure to work to, and it also allowed us, as a second thing, to do trading at the front end, which is something that we talked about doing, and it looked like a good idea for raising extra funds. And as a charity, you can't do that. As a charity, you would need a CIC to do what CICs do for some of the bigger charities like Oxfam and whatever. They run the shop as the CIC, and the money feeds back into the charity. And the charity do their charitable works based on the money they receive. So, you know, a CIO is slightly different from, I understand, slightly different from being a full, all singing, all dancing charity with the Charities Commission. But I may be wrong about that. And I'm waiting to hear from Robin because of lockdown. I think either they've been working from home, or I don't know what's happened to their system, but I've emailed them 3 or 4 times now, and I've tried ringing them to get more information. And so far, I haven't had anything back from Robin about our changing of CIC to CIO.
No. But
I
this,
think I put that, and I think I put his email address after the last meeting on the group. I can send it to you again, because he was willing to help us submit the accounts. And I think he said he'd only charged about £50, but he's got a lot of knowledge. But the questions he was asking me, it was just way above him. I didn't really understand. I think we spoke about it in the last meeting. It was about the constituency, is that right?
Oh, the Constitution.
Yeah, he was asking lots of questions about that to determine what would happen to the money that happened before being a CIC. So I thought it was just better if you spoke to him, because you know about that a lot more, that side of things.
okay. Okay, I've just had an idea actually, that when it's just a thought, that when anything like this comes up, if like this guy, if you put it within the event in the discussion, it will keep it all together then, because it will flag up, and it won't just be floating around looking for a home. You know how to do that on an event, Esme?
Do you mean to post in a discussion on the event?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And so anything related to it, it just helps to keep everything together.
Yeah.
I think that might be a good way of us helping each other to remember that this is what was said, because that keeps that record there. When you look back, you think, oh yeah, I remember now.
Oh, okay.
Jackie, in the guides, is it worth having a guide for contacts?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Just anybody.
Yeah, I've got one called Handy. I think I've got one called Handy Contacts, because I think you put one on. It's only, yeah. So I think I've called it Handy Contacts. So
okay,
it could. The thing is, if it went, yeah. So it's just to whatever works for this, because I think I saw that when I was putting it in, and I don't know when I'll put it at the moment, but yeah. So that's something that Paul and I will action. Yeah, we'll speak to this guy.
Yeah, thank you.
Are we going to have a kind of deadline on this? So if you can't get in touch with him, we can otherwise start looking elsewhere for some advice, because I'm just conscious that we're now starting a new financial year under the CIC, and obviously the aim is to try and get the CIO set up, reapply, so that we can start getting funding under that arm rather than under the CIC.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a good point, and I think what we'll do, it'll be within the week. We will contact this guy or put it out there to see if anybody knows someone else that can help.
Okay, I thank you
Yeah.
for sending me that extra, Jackie. I'm very sorry I couldn't find it under the Gmail info,
No.
but I've started having a look this morning. I haven't had time otherwise, and just to sort of get myself up to speed on what was, what was contained
What we
within that
said, yeah.
document. Yeah. So I just wanted to thank you, Paul, for saying about the what the Charities Commission came back on was that they really wanted us to have a full year of accounts, didn't they?
Yeah.
To see really what our turnover and everything was, what it all consists of. Was there any other comments that they made about, is that the only reason they refused us charitable status?
No, I think they also said that they felt that the way in which our constitution was worded was not giving them the impression that everything we were doing was considered to be charitable.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll have a look at the constitution then. Yeah, because
And it
yeah.
became an issue for them as to whether or not the therapists who were doing the work, who were being paid to do that,
Yeah.
they seemed to have some idea from the wording that we'd used that they saw the therapist as somehow much more commercial than we were thinking they were. We thought that what they were doing was delivering our aim, which was to support and give health-giving treatments to unpaid carers. So because we'd focused on the unpaid carers, they seem not to see that as quite the charitable piece of work that we thought it was. They look more at the therapists and the mechanisms for getting the therapy done and the payment to the therapist.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it was, to a certain extent, it was perhaps partly our fault for not putting in there in the application enough information, enough data, and enough of the right words that made them see us as a charity.
Yeah.
I think we'd have to revisit that this time.
So really focusing on the fact that any money that comes in is going to benefit the rather than the therapists.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think we were keen to put about the school simply for the reason that we knew what constituted a good therapist, but I think that made them think that there was some sort of scheme going.
Yeah, commercial enterprise going on
Yes.
or something.
There was a scheme going on, so I think that needs to go on the back.
I think the other thing we didn't highlight really probably enough is the fact that the therapists are donating a treatment free, but also they're being paid under the going rate for their therapies.
Yeah.
So actually they're not gaining, because if they had them as a regular client, they would be earning a lot more money out of them.
Yeah.
So
I think you're right, Dawn, because we were answering these questions when we were completely green. We started answering these questions like in March 2019. I don't think we even had a name for the.
We hadn't got a clue, had we? Really?
We haven't got a Scooby-Doo.
And I looked at it, and there's 23 pages to go through. So it's a huge document to have to complete. So I don't,
Well, that constitution document actually came from somebody that we knew who was running a business as a charity. So we base our constitution on what we believe to be a charitable type of constitution. But it turned out, because our system of doing the business is slightly different from what this other person was doing, and we didn't perhaps explain it, as we've already touched on, in the right terms, that I think and the fact that we'd not been going a whole year, made a difference to our application, and they turned us down.
Yeah.
It's all about the terminology, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It's very difficult.
Don't give up, but basically, you can always go back again and ask them to reconsider. Now a year's gone by, but I think we do need to talk about how we rejig that constitution that fits charitable status better than it does at the moment.
Well, I'll put
Yeah.
that. I'll put that on the. I mean, the constitution is actually on the website of therapy. All our policies are on there. But what I'll do, I'll put it separately on here, and then it'll be. There's one called charity info. If I put any documents on there, and they'll always be found within the guides in charity info. I'll put the constitution. The feedback that we got from the Charity Commission is on the Facebook page, but it isn't within the guides at the moment. I didn't come across that, so I'll put that in there. Then you've got the application, the feedback, and the constitution, and anything else I can upload onto here and keep it in there, and then it's nice and easy to find, I think.
And all those.
I think what I'd be keen to do is to. Sorry, Paul.
I was just going to say, all those documents that you mentioned, I've sent to Robin at Ordered Management.
Yeah.
For them to consider, and I've heard nothing back from them at all.
No.
Yeah,
Sorry
I think what I'd like
interrupt
to do is read the constitution through, and I've got a bit of way through the application for the CIO, but I had my plumber here this morning, and he was longer than I thought, so I couldn't really. But I want to get up to speed with both of those documents. What I think I'd like to do is have also our current or the financial situation, Esme, so we know exactly where we stand. Then what I'd probably do is ring the Charities Commission and establish what they need from us in addition to what we've already provided.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah. To call them
straight from the horse's mouth, because otherwise we could be doing again another
year
on CIO application, and we're still no further forward. If we know exactly what they need, is it definitely because it's too much on the commercial side, not so much on the charity, to meet the criteria?
We want to stop them seeing us as a community interest company, which is where we've landed up, mainly because of all of the misinterpretations and some of the language that was used. But I think it will take some considerable time anyway, because last time we put it in, it took somewhere around about 6 months before we actually heard anything at the end of the day. So it's not a quick and easy one.
No, the sooner we get it in though, the sooner it can start being processed, can't it?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely. It's fantastic for you to take this on, Teresa, because it was like banging our head on a brick wall, wasn't it, Dawn, last year with that can, and it was just soul destroying in the end that we had to just take it over, because it was done piecemeal, and really we needed good professional advice, which we didn't get, because but anyway, we've learned our lesson, and that's really good. I'll put any extra information in the group, and then you'll
it might still mean that we might have to go down that route and get some professional advice, but if we've I'm not an expert at doing any funding applications and anything like that, but I can look at it with a eye.
I'm happy to pay for I'm happy to pay for professional advice. I just want good advice. That's the thing, isn't it?
We want someone to really review what we've done and advise us on what we've done, not actually write it for us, don't we? That's
just like the guy that we're going to ring about the accounts. It's just making sure the boxes are ticked. And
I think on balance we are probably going to have to submit our financial returns to both HMRC and Companies House anyway under a CIC regime, because I don't think we'll become a CIO in time to change everything over. I'm not sure that we'd be allowed to. Actually, it might be too complicated to do that. So
I think we're running the CIC alongside though, aren't we? We're going for both.
I think
Yeah.
we need both. I can see
Yeah.
we'll need a front end that allows us to sell, and we'll need another backstop that tells us it's all charitable.
Yeah, Esme and I spoke about that, didn't we? And said we need to have 2 separate bank
Yeah,
accounts and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes it much easier to manage.
But I
So
think
the-
the HMRC regulations about returns might be marginally different from my understanding of it to those that are required by Companies House. Companies House want a set of accounts, but their timescales for that are slightly different from HMRC, and they do warn you about that they actually want something that's slightly different and earlier than HMRC do.
Well, this is what we can ask this guy about, isn't it?
But that's exactly what I was going to say.
This is what we're going to ask this guy about. So we'll give him a call. And so would this be a good place to show the spreadsheet that you put out, Esme?
if you can. Just quickly
Yeah.
though, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
have to hang up on here and join on something else because I'm having battery problems.
Oh,
Okay, if you can let me in, I'll leave and I'll be back in a sec.
okay. I'll be getting the thing up.
Thank you.
Right. There she is. What am I doing? Oh, here we are. Because Esme put this out. You're
There we
right.
go.
Activities by class.
It had to be fair, it hasn't changed at all really,
No.
because yeah, there's been no activity.
No. Well, we've had some money come in. I suppose we've had your money come in. We've had
Yeah.
somebody actually buy some masks, which was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
It's a
There
bit
should be some more going in actually, Jackie, because Sarah bought some candles on Sunday.
Oh, right. This is a bit small. I'm just wondering if I can make it bigger. Trouble is, I'll make it bigger and it won't fit in the thing, will it? Oh, this is 14. Oh, say it won't fit in then. Even 14, it's not liking it. Oh, make it 30.
If you double click at the between A and B and the top, if you double click between A and B, the little line.
A and B. Oh yeah.
Yeah, to go along. No,
Oh,
other
yeah.
way. Down.
Down.
Yeah, but the little line between A and B.
Yeah. Oh, I can't see at the moment. Oh, the little line in between A and B. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there,
if you-
double click.
No.
Normally that makes it all fit in.
Does it? I'm obviously not jiggling it at the right way. What a nuisance. I'm just concerned that if people can't see it, that's all really.
Yeah.
I think the main thing that we want to know, no, we can't see it at all now.
Move the end of A line across to the left a bit more.
Sorry, just playing with this thing. Yeah, I think we'll just have to bear with it really for the moment. So I think, is it down here? Is it down here that we've got somewhere where there's where we really, what I'm interested in at the moment is have we got enough to treat people, you know?
Yeah, we
what
have.
that is. So where would that be?
So the bottom line really, net income expenditure. Oh, I haven't done I forgot to put the table on.
Yeah, because there's usually a little table here that
Yeah,
tells
yeah,
us.
sorry, completely forgotten to put that on.
What- Have you got it there?
No, let me look at last. It won't be, but to be fair, I've got last.
The
Here we
last
go.
one?
I've got the last one, and it hasn't changed.
No.
So where is that?
So overall, we've got a net operating income of 9136, haven't we?
Yeah, and on the last one we had 8315, so it's obviously gone up slightly from that. And
Great.
with that meant that we could have 81 carers.
Right.
So we can.
Sorry.
So yeah, so we've got, yes, we can have more than 81 carers. So it would be, yeah, it'd be about 91. And that's going off £100 per carer. Obviously, we had that discussion, are we going to change it? If that goes down to less treatments, that would obviously go up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're okay at the moment. I did you manage to find if we'd got the money from that Rotary Club?
I don't think we have. Do you
No.
know how much it was for?
I don't know. I think it was probably just a couple of hundred.
Can I just ask you, ladies, if are we doing 5 treatments still for carers, or are we down to 3?
Well, we've not really, we haven't really said, have we, Dawn?
No, because it's kind of, we had that discussion when we weren't treating people anyway.
Yeah.
So we haven't actually, because we were going to do it on our own discretion, weren't we?
Yeah.
Decide whether somebody was going to have 3, 4, 5, but we haven't made that decision on anybody yet, I don't think, have we?
So
No.
how many carers have we got waiting?
Well, the ones that were, there's about 30 that have started up again. And Jackie, was it about 19 we've had in?
That waiting. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it was about 19 applications we'd had in that haven't been paired up.
So we've definitely got room for more to take more on then. So that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are we looking at retaining where they're in their individual areas, each money pocket? Are we looking to retain that in each area until that's used up? Then we'll consider drawing from another pot in another area. Is that how we're going to do it?
That was the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already moved some money about. That can be done. Quite a lot of the money in there's for RIF still, so that's £2,300 is still sitting there for the RIF clients. I don't know if that has to be sent back, or
I've contacted him and had no reply as yet, Esme.
Okay.
I've put that forward to him and said, obviously we haven't spent your money yet, and just asked him if he was going to start sending referrals through again. We were also supposed to be doing a couple of workshops with him and his groups, but obviously, you know, it could still be a little while before we can do anything like that.
Yeah, I think things are going very, very slowly in that sector. So this money, that 9,000, Esme, that doesn't include RIF then, or the Norwich Trust?
that does include RIF.
That does include. So
yeah.
Right. So what is the net then? What have we got left?
Where are we? Who's this? So we've got, so Breckland's got 300, Broadland's got 626, King's Lynn has got 461, North Norfolk has 515, South Norfolk 669, Yarmouth 943.
Blimey.
And then the Norwich City Council grant, there is about 1,500 left over from that.
All right, well, that's not too bad then.
Yeah, there's enough in each pot. And obviously in the different, apart, not the grant, but the other districts, money can be moved about if somewhere needs more.
So this money here is in there, obviously, and this money is also in there, and the RIF money was about 3,000, isn't there, for RIF?
2,300.
2,300. Yeah. So it's really nearly 4 off of that. So we've got about 5,000 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then like for the RIF, I don't know if any expenses could be taken off that, because at the moment all the expenses have come off the Norwich City Council grant, like advertising and stuff like that. So I don't know if some of that could be moved over and come off the RIF money.
I don't think it can, Esme.
No.
Because, no, it was just for treatments and workshops.
Yeah, it was only the Norwich City Council one that had all the Norwich Charitable Trust that we had the leeway to add different things in, which Paul put in, which was really good.
Yeah.
So we haven't got too much of Norwich. The thing is, Dawn and we got together last week and we looked at the people on the list, and there was one person in the Norwich blooming thing, mate.
Oh, really? Typical.
Yeah, there was one person, and I rang her up, and I've emailed her, and I've rung her up, and I can't get through to her. And yeah, because that would be ideal. We thought, oh great, and then nearly everyone was at South Norfolk. But what we did, we tidied it all up, didn't we? So we knew what we'd got, we knew what had come in and who was waiting from the past. And the therapists, from what we understand, have been pretty proactive and got in touch with their carers again. I saw Hayley this morning and her daughter Ruby, who was a young carer. She's restarted her treatments with Miranda on Monday, so that was really nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So
is there any different place you could advertise in? I'm thinking to try and draw for like the RIF money. Is there any, I don't know.
Well, the RIF is a really tricky one, because that's people with drug and alcohol abuse, so that's a bit under the radar. But I think that's a good idea for the Norwich ones, because Norwich, the South Norfolk were very, very good at their hubs there at putting people forward. And the Norwich one is just absolutely rubbish. And so I think maybe getting in touch with Nikki at Sensational Families and asking her, and then so it's 1,500. I'm getting out of it. What we can do with 1,500 now. So that's at least 10, 15.
15,
people,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's a lot. So I could ask her to say that, but they need to be NR1 to NR3, really, don't they? Is NR4? I think it's NR1 to NR3 probably, to really get it official. But
Can I just let you know, I spoke to the Alzheimer's Society. I think I might mention it to you, Jackie, about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, just because my stepdad has got memory problems and starting to go down that road, unfortunately. But when I was talking to her at the end of the conversation, I mentioned about Therapy Aid. Had she heard of us? And she hadn't.
No.
So there are still groups out there who don't know about us, who would have direct contact with carers.
Yeah.
So I think we need to seriously look at setting a budget for advertising and marketing. And I think it would be a really good idea, as you mentioned last week, to maybe contact the colleges and see if anybody would like to take on a project of doing our marketing and advertising for us, as maybe part of their college.
What about advertising for what? Carers?
About Therapy Aid and promoting us. Yeah,
because I think we grew too quickly, which was my fault, and I'm very concerned now that we don't go back to that again, because it was a bit, it was too tough. And I think if we just if I think I'm happy with what we've got, to be honest, because not all the therapists are going back at the moment, and some of them are feeling overwhelmed. So I think we need to go a bit carefully with them. And I think and I think if we did get 15 carers, to be honest, in Norwich, I think we'd have a hell of a job to place them with therapists, don't you think, Dawn?
Yeah.
It's not as easy to, and we end up quite often using the same therapist. And
okay, so should we look at it from a different point of view, in that maybe we need to do the recruiting first and get more therapists on board, on the proviso that we want to get that in?
Yeah, well, that's what we had in place just before lockdown. We had a road trip, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were going to be, Dawn and I were doing a road trip, and I got all the boxes ready, and I had all the things ready for each area. We were going to do this round the county trip, and it all, I've got all the stuff ready for them, and that was that. It was to get more people, particularly Breckland. I mean, that's like a no man's land, isn't it, Dawn, for therapists?
Yeah.
Somebody comes in from Breckland, we say, oh my God, and West Norfolk, but yeah, it's
there was someone on Sensational, I think that was for a young carer. She was asking if there was any support out there for young carers, and I said to her, have you heard of Therapy Aid? And she hadn't. Then she private messaged me and said, do they cover Breckland? And I said, I think so.
Yeah, we do technically cover Norfolk, but it's a hell of a job to get. We didn't realise we've got a map now in the coffee room at the hub with all the tickets to show where the therapists are, and there's this huge gap, isn't there, Dawn?
It's like a black hole.
It's like a black hole.
Like nobody works there. That's why I've been so busy for the past 15 years, I reckon.
Yeah.
I've got no competition.
No competition. And of course, one of the things is some of the therapists work full time, so they're only going to do it in the evening, and the carers need it during the day, or they need it in the evening and the weekends when the therapist that could do it can't do it. And
gets quite complicated. But we have got some floaters though, haven't we, Jackie, like Mel, who will travel around different areas, because she's done boarding Norwich and Breckland.
Chris is very good. I mean, we've got our stalwarts who we know we can count on. Chris is one of them. He's become a funeral celebrant, Chris. And Mel and Miranda. We have done quite a bit actually, trying to get, believe it or not, more massage therapists, because they're quite thin on the ground, aren't they?
We've got lots of reflexologists. Quite a few do Indian head, but not very many full massage.
Okay.
Yeah. So it hasn't been quite as easy as we thought. We didn't think it was going to be easy, but sometimes it does take a bit to get somebody to volunteer to take one on.
We might need to consider whether or not we go back to Norwich Charitable Trust to say we've got money in their pot for Norwich, but given that we haven't got that many people in Norwich who would sit under their terms and conditions, that we tell them that we want to change the terms and conditions to only 3 sessions instead of 5, because then maybe we can get the thing working better for Norwich and Norwich Charitable Trust, and they'll agree to change their terms and conditions and leave us with the money to spend it this year instead of drawing it back. Because at the moment, we're still waiting for them to give approval that we can keep the money live and ready for use. Because strictly speaking, we've come to the end of the period we were supposed to have spent it.
Well, I think that's another. Well, I think that's another thing that we should do is get in touch with. I'll put that on the thing on this event, at the thing there, so that at a post.
Do you want me
don't
to speak to them, or does someone else normally do that?
Well, it's okay. Paul and I'll get Paul to
okay.
do it. To contact NCC to ask about what to do about money.
I'm heavily booked at the moment on building swimming pools.
Are you? So yeah, I'll put that as a post.
In a way, the fact that we haven't been able to spend this money, it's so annoying, because not only have we not been able to do what we wanted to do with it, and we're now having to ask them if we can keep it, but we're having to pay tax on it, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't, but hopefully we're not. Hopefully we're not.
Well, I'd like to think,
Well,
yeah, we're
Fingers
not going to.
crossed. Yeah.
I'll put
Yeah,
on here that. Sorry.
The impact with COVID, I think, is extenuating circumstances, and they could consider ignoring the time that we've not been able to work and then carrying it forward to this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping with RIF as well, is that they might say, you know, obviously it's out of our control, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think, but actually thinking about it sensibly, we need to make sure that Norwich Charitable Trust will let us still spend that money before we put the call out for people in Norwich. But I think when Dawn and I get together next time, we'll divide up the people that we've got. Now that we know we've got the money, we divide up those that are there. We'll give them a call, and then match them with the therapists, so that we can start taking people off the waiting list. And then I think doing it in a timely fashion is what we need to do, because it was done in a bit of a firefighting way before. And so I think just reining back a little bit from what we did and get the finances right, the charity status, and also if Esme and I can get together to look at some funders, that would be good.
Yeah.
Talking of which, I was in Aylsham earlier this morning, dropped the girls off at school, thought I'd pop into Tesco's and grab a few bits. They have now opened up their boxes again for the you know, the little coin drop.
Oh yeah,
that's now open again, so we can now apply to them if you want us to push ahead with that one.
Oh, that would be good.
That's a community funding thing, I think they call it.
Yeah. So what are you offering to do that, or you're looking for just telling us so that someone will do it?
What I was going to do is go into Drayton, because I've got to go that way this afternoon, Tesco's at Drayton, and find out where they are with regards to the book money. Because I think you mentioned they've got £1,000 sitting there at the moment, and I was going to suggest that, you know, we've got carers waiting. We would like to possibly utilise that money sooner rather than later, and find out the status with regards to the ongoing book sale, because they have got books in Aylsham, so I can't see any reason why they would stop not have that again. And at the same time, I mean, I'll happily look at it, but it won't be there that quickly as anything. So obviously I've got to look at the Constitution and CIO stuff. So
of course you have. No, so do you know how to go about this, putting the coin in the thing business? I mean, I can look into it, I just don't know where to start first. So would you do?
Yeah,
do you know?
If I look up the link on the website, and then I'll send it to you, shall I?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
They have community champions, I think, don't they, who deal with all of that in the supermarkets?
Yeah, that's who I've spoken to before, but it wasn't about the actual thing for the green tokens, isn't it? I can Google that. I'm sure it'll be on the Google, won't it? Jackie, to look at the I'll just Google it. I'm sure it'll come up, won't it? How do you get on the green tokens?
It's community grants. If you go into, it's the Bags of Help. So it's tescobagsofhelp.org. And it comes up community groups to apply for a community grant.
Okay, I'm just writing it in the post in the on within the event, so that I'm just making a list of to-dos.
Yeah, I'm going to ping it across. I'm going to ping across the link to you now, Jackie.
Okay, thank you. So that'll be, yeah, I can put that in the fund raising thing. So that's really handy to know. I've lost the agenda now. Where have
Well, we've
where are
kind
we?
of dotted about a bit.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
Banking, finances and funding. Have we covered that? Is there anything else?
Is there anything else, Esme?
No, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Looked at the AOB extra items.
Oh, what were they?
Well, product selling, CIC to CIO, financial returns current status, Janet's resignation, and ideas for making money and fundraising.
All right, so that needs to be minuted about Janet's resignation, doesn't it?
We've had something in writing from her, have we, saying she wants to resign?
I think it was just a message on Messenger. I'll ask her maybe to do something a bit more official.
She needs to put something officially in writing to be considered by the board of directors, and then we would agree or not agree. And then I've got to notify Companies House that she should be taken off the register.
Okay, so Jackie.
Otherwise, she'll remain liable.
Of being a director. They're called a director, isn't it, for this? Okay, so that's that. And then what was another one?
Ideas to make money and fundraising.
Ideas to make money, and also about the sales, because you haven't had the information long enough really to be able to work that out, Esme, have you?
I started looking through it last night. A few I could tie up, others didn't tie up. But yeah, it's going to take a while to look through all of that. But I did make a start on it.
Yeah, it's quite messy.
It's perfect what I need, but weirdly some of it doesn't tie up at all.
No. Well, I think the trouble is some of it we've sold to the students, so they haven't actually filled in a thing, so it doesn't show on the thing, you know. It's and then it's the money in the bank, and so then it's not actually on the spreadsheet that we've taken off the website, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think going forwards it's definitely something that needs to be recorded more accurately, which is easy. As long as I know what it is coming in the bank, I can make separate accounts in QuickBooks, and then it'll just, a report will just show it immediately what it is.
So you let us know how we need to work it. And or maybe it could be then that if somebody does buy it from the school, they've still got to fill in a form on the website or something, otherwise it doesn't show officially anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you think what else you're thinking of us writing it down somewhere or something?
If they buy it from the school, how do they pay for it?
They put the money in the bank.
Okay, so the money's still going into so that should be the same. If you could just maybe if you could keep a spreadsheet of people or just a list that I can get given once a month of sales, and then when it comes in the bank I'll know where to allocate it to. Yeah,
maybe that, that's what we need.
You perhaps, Esme, do a just a standard form that Jackie can just have,
nothing.
A handful of them just to fill in, or just ask the person who's making the purchases just to fill in their name and the products they have and how much they are and the total, so you can then tie that up to the bank.
Just any document which shows what people have bought, how much and when.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's not often, is it?
No, just when sometimes when the students are in, they'll ask for something, and but generally we try not to take cash. We try to just give them the bank details so it goes into the bank. So
Yeah, they can pay with they could pay with PayPal as well for stuff like that. That would be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're just trying to think of one of those editable documents within the Facebook group, you know, on the sales side. That might work, mightn't it, Dawn? So that
What,
it's
like a Google Docs thing?
well, no, an editable doc that's in Facebook. So it's all kept in the same place. So that we just edit it, and anybody buys anything, we just put it on there. And you could tell me and I could do the editing. You say, oh, Hayley's bought 3 candles or something, and we could do it like that. So it's not, because the trouble is it's in the middle of the class and you're not really sort of geared up to then
this one the one you sent me as well only starts July 2020, and I think I've got transactions on QuickBooks going back to May 2020. That's the thing, it's whether I sit and spend hours going through this to get an inaccurate, because there's going to be certain things which don't tie up. That's the or whether we just do it going forward. So is it really important for you lot to know now which product has made?
I think we've got an idea, to be honest with you. I think we've got an idea anyway.
Because going through because of stuff that's missing and like the inaccuracies, I don't know how. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's not worth spending a week of Sundays trying to
you just need to determine what are products and what are donations.
Yeah, I think that's clear, is it?
Is that clear, Esme?
No, products and donate. Oh, that's in there. But yeah, there's a breakdown between fundraising, product sales, donations, everything like that. It's just within the product sales, what is the different products? That's what we can't work out.
But I think you could probably work out from having done the stock take and then go forward from now on. I wouldn't waste any time trying to work out. If you know that it's all products, then you know it all comes under CIC and would enter into the taxable amount.
Yeah.
And then going forward, it can be broken down more specifically by having the form and just filling the form in going forward. I wouldn't worry about going back on it.
It's going to take a long time.
Type all out.
Yeah, no, not if it's.
Just do a stock take so we know the value, what we've got on the shelves currently. You did that the other day, didn't you, Dawn?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and then go forward from there.
Yeah, idea.
The spreadsheet that Wendy and I were working on, that the purpose behind that was exactly what you're saying, Esme. Was that we were trying to split everything down, not just by kind of product, but actually each individual product. So what we bought to make it, what was in it, what was in each product, the packaging, the postage, everything. And matching it up with the sales, which were supposed to then come in from the website, but it all just got stopped, unfortunately.
It got very complicated too, didn't it?
It is, but it wasn't undoable. Wendy was kind of almost there, really. It was a shame, but
shall I show you? Shall we look at it?
It would be good to know, because obviously you don't want to sit there spending hours making something which isn't making a lot of money.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Here we are. I'd forgotten about this.
Yeah, Wendy did a lot of work on this, and the idea was it was then going to tie in with the website and get the sales come through. So we'd made a record, we'd given everything an individual number. If you go to product manufacturing, Jackie, on the bottom sheet, product manufacturing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh. Hang on. Something's gone wrong there.
Yeah. Items for sale.
Yeah. So everything was given an individual number, so TA 001 onwards. And we'd actually manually recorded all the sales as well up to this point, and how they were posted. And so we were on to something. We just never got around to it, functioning automatically rather than having to input it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just put down everything that we've bought, and then per item, how much, if the green column per item is how much we'd actually use. So it gave us our cost price, and then the profit was what on top, what we sold it for.
Yeah. So I think that's something that because it was the carers as therapists as well that we're working out with Wendy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So she's put a hell of a lot of work into it, hasn't she, with the carers and the therapists? I mean, that got
she put a lot of work into this as well.
She put a hell of a lot of work into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she realised that we
really
needed.
Good. Yeah, because you've got all the information there, haven't you? You can, if someone could then sit through and go through it, then you'd actually then work out, what you've made money on, and where for example, on any suppliers where it's expensive to purchase from a certain supplier, you can then start shopping around. So it's just
around,
you see the information on there. You can't there's nothing to back up what your sort of gut feeling might be.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's too hard to work it all out. I'm thinking if you can just work. But I'm thinking with all of this information, it shouldn't be too hard to work out which products made the most money.
No, I'd forgotten actually till Dawn put that on there that that this was already being worked on, because actually we didn't think of involving the finance side at all.
And a lot of this, it wasn't just keeping a record of the costs and the profit and everything. It was for things like batch numbers and expiry dates. There's a lot of reasons behind doing it.
There's a hell of a lot, and of course at the moment the profit would be low because, like here, the bottle label setup. I mean, that was expensive. The labels for the waxes. And also for the sending it off to this company to make sure that it was okay for us to do it and getting the report back. That cost like £100 per, or no, that wasn't so much, was it? That ended up to be £40. But each product, we can't just suddenly make up a new sale.
So you'll be looking at maybe to see how far for example, the bottle label setup and delivery is for 500 units. So that you can make 500 products without having to make another purchase of that item again. But you've then got to weigh up and see how many items you're selling per year before you start knowing that you've got to make that purchase again.
Yeah.
How long does the license for the menu, if you like, the ingredients for each recipe, how long does that license last? Is it only a year or is it longer?
No, that's it. Once you've got it, you've got it.
You've got it. So you pay one off
for
all the things that we put together as a product. And they're all still live and okay.
Yes. So what we did, Wendy and I, we went through and we divided up everything that we had to spend was divided up between the products, and so that when we were making up the sale price, we were still making a profit, even on the first batch. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Good. That's brilliant.
So we didn't want to lose on the first lot. We wanted to still make some money.
So for me, the most important thing on there at the moment is looking at the expiry dates of products, because if you've still got anything in stock, you now need to be either reducing that down to the cost price so we can get rid of it without making a loss.
We were talking about that.
Having a sales, special sales day or something, put that on the website and say that end of stocks clearance or something like that.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, weren't we? That's
that's one of the reasons we haven't bothered about making anything, to be honest with you, because we knew the use by dates were going to start coming up, and we thought there's no point making new stuff. We need to get rid of this. But actually, probably going to give it to sell it to the students, and then make a new batch to sell online.
But, so you need to maybe have a for each product, depending on how big a size it is and how long it would last for, you've got to look ahead. You've got to have some to flag up 3 months or 2 months or 1 month.
Warning of use by.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we would need marketing for. That's sorry.
All right.
That's what we would need the marketing person for, because if we did wanted to sell stuff, that's what we need the marketing person for. So that, because we need to have them some professional person to do it, because you know, that's what we'd need help with. But I think if we could get someone on board to help us to get rid of the stock that we've got, it would be good.
Well, that's what I was saying to Jackie last week, was what we need to do, because we've got ingredients there, we've got tins, we've got labels and everything. If we need to use it to get money in, we've got to get rid of that stock and use it all up before we even start thinking about doing anything new. That's all bought and paid for. We need to make money out of it.
So when we get together, we'll sort that out and we'll do a push.
I'm not in too much of a hurry personally to start making new stuff. I think our energies are probably better spent on sorting the other stuff out, really, and getting the carers treated. I think we just need to get rid of the stock that we have, and just do what we do the thing that we wanted to do. Focus on what we started out to
focus on what we started out. And that would be.
Do you ever have stalls at like craft fairs and stuff? So I was just thinking there might be some of those coming up, and people spend money at those, don't they?
Yeah, that was another thing that we were just about to do, wasn't it, Jackie? There was a lady that offered us a bit on her stall. Who was that?
And Nikki, they're getting a shop in the Mall, in the old Mall. And she said we could have that, but really I don't think that's going to happen. I'll need to contact Nikki. I need to contact her about Norwich residents, but then I need to find out first of all if we can use that money. So, and then anyway,
So on the shop front, Jackie, on the Therapy Aid website, when somebody looks on there, do we know that we've actually got all the items that are on there in stock still?
Yeah, that's what we did last week. We went through and checked everything, checked the website, so that everything that was for sale we actually had.
Okay.
So that's all been done.
Okie dokie.
Can I just tell you a couple of things? Jackie, some of the stuff that we sorted out from last week. The MyCore application I've sent off. So we should get an invoice in for that.
Great. Thank you.
They'll probably send it to me because I sent the application in, but it's only £46.20. And that lasts a year, so it'll be a yearly subscription. So if you just look out for that, Esme. But I'll.
Did you say sorry, MyCore?
MyCore,
MyCaw.
I'll send it in to invoice out as soon as it comes through. Anyway.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you.
And carers tick. Belinda wants a meeting in the next sort of couple of weeks. However, I was going through the application form that we sent in, and we'd put Janet down as our champion, carers champion. So we need another one. We need another carers champion, so I'll have to resubmit the application form. So it needs to be somebody who's been a carer
Or is a carer.
or is a carer.
Have we got anybody here?
Ooh.
I don't know. Any, meeny, miny, mo.
What do they have to do?
Well,
don't-
what would it involve me doing?
Well, to be honest with you, probably not a huge amount. It's mainly we have to have one. It's literally like a tick on a form.
Yeah.
To say that we have somebody within our organisation that is like a carer's advocate, that everything that we do is for the carer's benefit, basically.
All right.
And also to perhaps tell us things that we could be doing that would benefit carers more.
Stick my name down then.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, I'll put your
As
name
long as
on
it doesn't
Thank you.
involve too much extra work, I don't
No,
mind.
it shouldn't do. It shouldn't do. I think because once we've got the carers tick, I don't think there's
That's
going to
it.
be a huge amount.
Yeah, it's just it's a
do.
kite mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's something we can put on our website and Facebook page, and it just shows that we work on behalf of
Carers for carers.
And
Yeah.
what they need is help with identifying carers, specifically young carers. So
Okay.
one of the things we were going to be doing was perhaps like giving our posters and leaflets and things to schools and colleges,
Yeah.
and things, so that they could then know what a young carer was and how to look out for them and how to signpost them.
Okay.
I think that was it. And the other thing was the spreadsheet. I haven't
I think
heard
there is
anything back from
young
Rick.
carers out there that need, going by sensational families, I think there is quite a lot of young carers out there who need
Yeah.
some sort of support.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Pop my name down. I'll do it.
Thank you.
Carers
That's-
advocate.
Yeah.
Right.
They call them a champion.
Oh,
Carers
champion.
Mm.
Good. Well, that's just brilliant. Thank you, Dawn.
All right. I don't think we can't really talk about events and conferences and things, can we? Because they're not happening.
No, the conferences aren't happening. I mean, it'd be nice to think that we could open the garden, because
that was put on hold.
that was going to happen, wasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, once the wisteria comes out, it's going to look all lovely again, and we could do something like that. I mean, Paul's worked so bloody hard on it, and I'm good at enjoying it, aren't I, darling? This is lovely. Would you like a cup of coffee, darling?
Yeah.
You're doing really
It's a
well.
little-
We need
a
a
little
swimming
haven, isn't
pool
it?
in every part of the garden.
Well, yeah, we could, but it all depends on Boris, what he says on people, because obviously you can just get 6 people at a time, and if it opens up, who knows? Who the hell knows? Nobody.
What about our chief ambassador, Norman Lamb? He ought to get involved in some of these things, hopefully.
Yeah, well, he told me before he'd come and open up if I'd managed to get the, yeah.
Because he might know the inside track on how many people you're allowed to get, when you can get them, and can we have an open garden day? I don't know.
I think the time to involve him again is when we get our charity status, isn't it? He can help us celebrate that, can't he?
He'd need to know. He's down on the CIC as one of the key people at the top, along with whatever her name is.
Jenny Lee Grace, yeah. Well, I think we're getting back on track, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely getting back on track. So thank you very, very much. This is just great. And I think I'll get an arrangement with Esme and a separate one with Dawn, so that we can work on one of the funding applications, Esme, because there's the lottery. I had a look. She hasn't written back to me yet, Kessia, but I think it probably needs to all be done again. I'm not sure, but I'll talk to her. She's very, you know, like a normal sort of girl, you know, young woman, and she'll just tell us. So I have written to her. They said to write to her, so I have. I can't do
Are
any
we
more.
stating when we're applying now for funding that we are trying to obtain charitable status? Because having that charity number is going to be the absolute key, I think.
I know, I know.
Get
Well,
funding.
that's a good point, and that's something that I think I'd talk to her on the phone. She's very easy to talk to, and I'll say, shall we wait? Because she'll know.
Yeah, I think we need to establish, I mean, things like the Tesco's ones, that's for a community, it's a community fund, it's not necessarily a charity fund.
Yeah.
So things like that we can actually apply for and hopefully still get money coming in.
Yeah.
It's just where it's specifically needed for charitable status.
Yeah. So it might be a good idea to just put it on hold until we get the charity status.
Yeah, so are you going to give it another week with the Robin guys? I take it as a bloke, is it not a Robin, a woman?
Well,
It's a guy,
Paul's.
I'm going to ring him again.
Yeah, Paul will ring him again. Put that down. Paul's going to ring up Robin.
Yeah, maybe express, if you have to leave a message, maybe express the urgency of it.
Yeah,
we're ready to push ahead now, and you know, we need to really get it sorted out. And if he's unable to help us, if he could let us know within the week so that we know to look elsewhere for some help.
We can find someone else. That's great.
Yeah. Okay.
I want it to happen ASAP simply because of the profit aspect, the tax aspect, that we could push money into a CIO and therefore be, you know, not liable for tax on the CIC.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, and the fact that we've got Janet resigning as well at the same time just came as a, you know, a bit of an awkward one. That was all. Just made it look a little bit odd.
Yeah, but these things must happen all the time.
Yeah.
Just quickly mention, Esme, if you speak to your guy, can you also ask him the transfer of funds from the CIC to CIO? Because obviously under some of the companies, you're allowed to put a certain amount over for charitable reasons. And that would obviously give us as well a tax break on that. So if you know at that point as well, there would be a limit. Because it might have to be that if we want to transfer money across to CIO, I don't know how it would do it, whether it would come as like a director's loan or something, I don't know, but we need to really establish that, because we want to have that money in the CIO ready to go ahead and start doing paying the carers, don't we? Rather than from a CIC. So we've got a transfer of funds that'll have to take place. Brilliant.
Right, I think we're there.
Okay.
I think we're there, unless anyone's got anything they.
If I've got any queries, I'll give you a shout, shall I, Paul?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And if not, we'll touch base at the beginning of this time next week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it needs, we just need to finalise. If I can only get hold of Robin again to talk to, that would make all the difference. But he's just been unobtainable for some reason.
Right, we'll come off now, and then we can make some calls. I think you'll call Robin, and we'll call, what's his name? I know his charitable trust, and get it done while the iron's hot.
Jackie, at some point, can you let me know what day you've got free to go into the hub next week, please?
Yeah. What about next Wednesday?
Yes.
Is that okay? Yeah.
I'm having my hair done that day, but I can't remember what time. I'll have a look and I'll get back to you.
Okay, we'll and there's
I can't cancel that.
No. Well, I could always try. We can have a chat, and I could have a cut.
I might come out pink or purple.
Right for you, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, ladies and Paul.
Bye.
And thank you for your hard work. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.